If an ordinary person steals $10,000, they go to prison. If a billionaire steals $1 billion, they hire lawyers. FTX and Epstein are not exceptions. This is the system, and now you are about to see how it really works. The most terrifying part of this story is not that billionaires steal. It is that the entire system is designed to ensure they are never truly held accountable. You may have been told that FTX was the mistake of one individual, that Epstein was simply a monster, an anomaly, a deviation from the norm. But if that were true, these stories would have ended quickly. There would be clear answers, clear consequences, clear justice. Instead, what we see is delay, silence, and confusion. And that is your first warning sign. Because systems don't behave like accidents. Systems behave like designs. Let's start with FTX, one of the largest crypto exchanges in the world. Billions of dollars in daily volume, celebrity endorsements, Super Bowl ads, support from politicians and major investment funds. FTX wasn't operating on the fringe. It was fully integrated into the financial mainstream. And then, total collapse. Ordinary people lost everything. Their savings, their businesses, years of their lives. Some lost money they could replace. Others lost money they would never see again. But ask yourself a simple question. How was a structure like this even allowed to exist? Where were the auditors? Where were the banks? Where were the regulators? The answer is uncomfortable. They were there, and they knew more than they admitted. FTX was not the mistake of one man. It was not a failed startup. It was not just incompetence. It was a symptom. A symptom of what happens when money moves faster than accountability, and when influence matters more than warning signs. And if you think this was a unique case, remember a name that appears again and again whenever money, power, and silence intersect: Jeffrey Epstein. For decades, Epstein operated alongside some of the most powerful people on the planet. Politicians, billionaires, bankers, intelligence-linked figures. There were financial transactions, private jets, private islands, closed-door meetings. And none of this happened in the shadows. It happened in plain sight of the system. Investigations began and quietly ended. Accusations appeared and disappeared. Deals were made. Files were sealed. Questions were postponed. And every time the same question returned: why? Why does an ordinary person get no second chance, while here we see decades of impunity? Now comes the most important part of this video. When you look closely at FTX and Epstein, the same elements keep appearing. The same banks, the same law firms, the same financial intermediaries, the same arrangements. This is not a conspiracy theory. It is a structure. Banks profit from money flows. Lawyers profit from complexity. Funds profit from access to capital. And when a problem appears inside this structure, it is not solved. It is professionally managed. So why are they rarely imprisoned? Because prison is a risk for banks, a risk for markets, a risk for politicians, a risk for everyone connected to the money. One arrest can trigger a chain reaction, and no one here wants chains. So a different mechanism is activated. Settlements, delays, criminal cases quietly turned into civil ones, media silence, time passes, and the public simply forgets. There is one more reason this works. It is easier for us to believe these are isolated villains than to accept that the problem is systemic. Because if it is the system, then it is not broken. It is working, just not for us. FTX and Epstein are not exceptions. They are the tip of the iceberg. And in the next videos, we will break down the documents, the names, and the mechanisms that are still operating today. If you want to understand the dark side of big money, you already know what to do.